I am genuinely surprised by what I'm seeing with the latest housing data for Sylvania. We are now past Halloween. We've survived that. We've survived some cold weather. I got out my corduroys, as you can see, and they feel really good when it's this cold outside. But what's going on with the housing market? Let's dig in a bit. First, let's start with the number of sales that we're seeing. And I'm going to go back to 2019. This was when we didn't know that COVID was going to ever be a thing. And the economy was plugging along, and we frankly didn't know it was a typical year. And it probably wasn't, but it's just a little more typical than what we've seen over the last few years. Going back to that year, we sold 59 homes in the month of October. We would have been happy to sell more. I think that's even down from historical averages. But when we look at post-COVID, looking at last year for the same month, we're seeing only 47 homes. So that's down. And then this month, we're down even more. And we're looking at 34 homes. So that's a significant drop. It's because there's just less inventory. We've consistently lost inventory, and it's not picking up. We're not seeing new construction come into the market at any kind of rate that would help solve this. And we're not seeing existing sellers willing to sell, primarily because they've got some great mortgage rates and they don't want to take a jump into the new market for mortgage rates where 30-year fixed mortgages have peaked. We saw in the last 30 days they peaked at above 8%. And then more recently, in the last probably week, we've seen some retraction, in fact, a significant retraction. And it seems to be because of some of the economic news. It looks like jobs reports indicated possibly softening on the inflation side. So all I know for sure is mortgage rates are going to change. I can't tell if they're going to go up first or down next, but they will consistently change, and that makes buying tough when they're higher and buyers are dropping out, which normally would indicate that prices are going to drift down or maybe go down quickly. So in the headlines, you may see some of that. You may see that possibly Boise, Idaho, or Austin, Texas is having a severe drop in prices. And that's because they had some really incredible, frantic buying going on during COVID. And they're just getting back to somewhat of a more normal place. But here in Sylvania, Ohio, in the Midwest, we've been a little more stable, and we're seeing prices actually increase. This is the surprising part for me. To analyze prices, I've gone to a price per square foot, which will help somewhat mitigate the differences we see between selling bigger houses or older houses. It's not a perfect metric. I would suggest that if you want to dig in some more, let's talk. If you just want to have an expert that looks at the data and hopefully can give you better advice so you can make better decisions, I'm really happy to do that. I enjoy digging in. I'm a recovering engineer, I think. Dealing with spreadsheets and data is one of the favorite things I like to do to keep up with the market. So here we go for price per square foot. Back in 2019, pre-COVID, we were looking at $99 a square foot. And that jumped during COVID, and last year, month of October, we were looking at $130 a square foot. So basically a 30% increase over the pre-COVID numbers. And here's the surprising part. I saw this last month and wasn't sure if I believed it, but I'm seeing it dramatically happen again. When I look at this past October, we are now up at $150 a square foot. So that's a 15% increase year over year. Now, when we look at the years in total, it won't be that large, but it is more than I really anticipated. And so I intend to make another video. My next video will look at the year as a whole, and it'll take into account how the more robust data shows what's going on. But for month over month, this is a strong report. It says that we are in a strong seller's market. So let me show you one more reason I think we're in a strong seller's market, and it is because of this chart. This is a metric I look at. It's not a commonly reported metric, but it has data showing how many homes sold at or above their asking price. And historically, it wasn't very many. Back in 2019, it was at 36%, which we would have considered quite nice, in that we were getting over a third of the homes to sell at or above asking. But look what COVID did, and look at where we are now. In fact, in 2022, we jumped up to 55% of the homes, and this past month, we were even higher. We're running at 64%, which is very similar to what we saw in September. So we're getting almost 2/3 of our homes to sell at or above asking price. So the market's quite interesting. It looks to me like homes that are really in great shape are going to do extremely well. I think we're seeing some cooling off on the market when we see a house that needs quite a bit of updates, quite a bit of maintenance. Those houses are selling at a slower rate and lower price. So that is something we're going to keep an eye on. Are we going to drift into two markets, one that's very strong for really nice conditioned homes, and another one that's kind of soft when we look at houses that need a lot of upkeep and a lot of help? So stay tuned. In regards to the number of houses selling and their prices, I'm saying it's a strong seller's market. And now I want to introduce one of my favorite data sources, and it's Altos Research. Now, Altos Research puts out great reports for realtors. In this case, they use the zip code 43560. Now, that's a difference from what I've been sharing with you. I've been sharing Sylvania School District, which includes more than the 43560 area. It includes more of the township. And I think that's a good geographic boundary, and it very much indicates what's going on in the area. But the Altos Research chart, in my humble opinion, is a little mixed. First of all, because it includes new construction. And we didn't see much new construction sell in the month of September and October. They're saying that the prices are cooling. Well, new construction's going at $200 a square foot, in that ballpark. And so when the rest of existing homes are at $150, a few of those new construction homes will skew the market. So that's why I like to separate them out. But Altos Research includes them. And as a result, they're seeing what they say is a slight reduction in the strength of the seller's market, and it's moving to a more balanced equation. And I think we'll keep monitoring that. I think we'll see how that changes over the next few months. And I continue to like Altos Research. But we can dig into that some more. I don't think that what we're going to see in the next few months between now and the spring market will change the situation dramatically. Prices may drift down a bit from October, but not enough to make a significant difference if you're thinking about buying or selling. So thank you for watching. I hope to have that new video out showing the yearly input fairly soon, and you might want to subscribe so that you don't miss that. Thanks for watching, and in the meantime, I hope you go slay some dragons.